More stinking LED bulbs fail. Here's a clip of what was going on with these. What a surprise! Another failing
LED bulb.
So as you could see there, the bulbs just started to develop a random flash during operation. These did not last long. These are up here in the kitchen for, I want to say, less than 2 years. And they don't really run all that many hours either. So, very disappointing, but not surprising. LED light bulbs lasting way less than their claim to last is a pretty common problem. So, this was a problem in the first place because I was using those cans over there, which are designed for par 20 size bulbs, so they're relatively short. If you put an A19 in there, it sticks out the top, which is not good. Creates a glare, doesn't look right, etc. So, since I can't buy any more par 20 halogens because they got banned, and at the time when I started to use a lot of par 20 bulbs, I didn't have the money to stock up on the remaining ones that you could buy, so I don't have a good stock of them. So I had to switch fixtures. I had to switch to fixtures that would take basic A19 bulbs, which is what we have here. So these cans now have 100 watt A19 bulbs, basic incandescent bulbs, and it's great. No flicker, good quality of light, etc. I don't think that this is quite as bright as the 39 watt, I think it's 50 watt equivalent halogens were, because with the halogens and with these stupid DELs, you could angle the fixture out into the room more and get the light to shine more towards the center of the room. I think it dispersed the light better. With these bulbs aren't directional, so you can't really get the light to throw out as far. So I don't think it's quite as bright, certainly using a lot more power, but it'll do for now. This is kind of, this is one of the problems of the bulb ban, is that I really need to start using almost exclusively fixtures that can take and are designed for to work well with A19 bulbs, because that's all I have an extensive stash of. The biggest problem is in the living room, because we have the track lighting on the beams, and there's really not much else you can put in there that makes any kind of sense aside from track lighting. You could do recessed cans, but I have to tear apart the whole ceiling. I'm not ready to do that. It won't be for several years. Same thing in here. Eventually I'll put recessed cans, which would be better than this, because the light will shine right down. But for now this will work. On one hand, this is kind of nice because now all the fixtures match. I got the same ones that I got for over here, but I would not have spent the money this month by choice, because these are almost $25 a piece, and this is one of the two most expensive months of the year, so I was not happy about having to spend extra money, but it is what it is. I need good lighting in the kitchen. And you know, I save money on a lot of different things, but one of the things that I will spend a lot of money on, there's two: heat and good lighting. I will pay to have good lighting, and I'll pay to have the house warm. Those are two things I just don't compromise on. So, another nail in the coffin for DEL. This was only one of 3 places in the house that I used DEL. The kitchen here was one of them. There's one DEL in the computer room in the hanging lamp, and there's one in the living room in the lamp by the couch. Now, a lot of people, and I don't know, I don't understand this mindset of getting angry and trying to defend a product that you have no stake in whatsoever, but a lot of people get very angry in the comments box when I talk about LED lights having a problem, and they say, "Oh, it's your fault. You bought a cheap bulb." Well, I have purchased, I would say, probably at least 35 different types of DEL bulbs since I moved in this house, in an attempt to find ones that I can use. for whatever the reasoning is, something about my eyes or what it is, I don't really know. LED lighting generally gives me a headache, and I find that the coloring is weird and there's flicker and all this stuff. And very, very few bulbs have I come across that I can actually use and not get a headache. It usually happens to be cheaper bulbs. There was one very cheap, I think it was a Great Value branded snow cone bulb that I was able to use. And then there was one Sylvania bulb, it was a 40 watt so-called vintage style bulb that I was able to use. And then these I were able to use. I have no idea why. These are cheap, weird off-brand male Searle branded bulbs, whatever that is. I have tried Satco bulbs, I've tried Philips bulbs. I feel like Philips is pretty widely accepted as a very good quality DEL brand, and they all give me a headache. I don't know what it is. So I'm not choosing to use cheap DEL bulbs. I'm choosing the ones of the ones that I try, which is a wide span of supposed quality and price. I'm choosing the ones of the group that doesn't give me a headache, and these happen to be it. Unfortunately, these don't last, which is a very common problem with the DEL bulbs today. And it makes perfect sense to me that they don't last, because if you think about it in terms of economics, the current consumer product market is, in a lot of ways, it's a race to the bottom. It's a function of, and this is because of what consumers are choosing to purchase, it's a function of who can make the cheapest bulb for the lowest cost that's just barely satisfactory enough for most users to rebuy it. That's the objective. Because most consumers right now are not going for the products of highest quality, they're going for the products of lowest cost. And so all these companies are not trying to make the perfect LED bulb, they're trying to make the cheapest LED bulb that's still, to most people, relatively acceptable. This is one of the biggest problems with LED, because it's a race to the bottom. I don't think that we're ever going to see really good, satisfactory LED bulbs, because if you think about it, if a company comes out with top of the line, good quality DEL bulbs, indistinguishable from incandescent, let's say 50,000 hour lifespan like a lot of these claim to have, but it actually lasts that long, it's going to cost considerably more than these cheap ones will. There's only going to be a relatively small number of people that'll buy it, and then once those people have bought it, it'll be decades before they return, because they don't need any more, because the ones that they got are working. So that company would just go out of business. And that's why LED is junk, because all these companies are making what people are buying. So we blame it on companies, and yes, they're partially to blame, but really it's a fault of the consumers for buying this stuff. I bought it hoping maybe it was okay, but it wasn't. I'm not buying it again. I only get fooled once. I have written off LED at this point. I was gonna use these because they were there. Let them keep going. But now that they're failing, that's it. When the one in the living room goes, that's it. That goes back to incandescent, or maybe that'll be a CFL because I run that lamp a lot. And the same thing with the one in the computer room. When that one goes, it goes back to incandescent, and that's it. I've got a huge stash of incandescent bulbs. When the bulb ban first started to go, get talked about, I bought hundreds of incandescent A19s, 60, 75, 100 watts, and it was money well spent, because now I've got them. So we still got to figure out what to do with the lighting in the living room. That's a problem still. I'm going to have to try to change the cans. I don't think that I can get away with using the A19 bulbs in there like I am in here, because the fixtures in there, the insides of them are black because they're brass, and the baffles are black. It doesn't reflect the light as well like these do, and it's not close to the ceiling, and it's a much bigger area. Now I've got three cans over here to light up, 20 or 30 square feet of counter. I've only got, let's see, right now I only have 16 bulbs in there, and when I change the fixtures to the ones I got, it's going to be only 12 bulbs, and that's for like 500 square feet, and it's not close to the ceiling, so a lot of light's not going to reflect off the ceiling. I don't know what I'm going to do about that room. That's just, it's been a continual problem I haven't been able to solve, and it's all stemming from this stinking bulb ban, because I can't buy the bulbs that I need, and it's a legitimate case. I've tried so many DEL bulbs, I can't use them because it gives me a headache, and there's no exception built into this ban for situations like mine where there's a legitimate reason why a DEL bulb can't be used, and it's very frustrating.